Welcome, everyone. I apologize that we're starting so late. We had a technical glitch there at 12:30, and of course it happened then, but we're ready to go now, and so I just want to say welcome to everyone. Thank you so much for coming to EENP's 4th graduation. We're really excited about the clients we have graduating today and the program today, and so without further ado, I'm just going to let it get moving.
Hello, I'm John Stevens, very happily board chair for EENP, and you look marvelous. How many people, by show of hands, is this your first graduation for joining us at EENP? Please hold them high. Oh, look around you. We got so many newbies. All right, give yourself a hand. So especially for our freshman class of graduation celebrants, thank you for coming. We can only do better as you help us by being here, by spreading the word to your friends and family. How many people have been with us for 3 graduations? All 3 up to here. Look around. So let's thank all those folks who've been with us the whole time. So again, whether you've been with us 20 minutes or 5 years as we celebrate our 5th anniversary, thank you for coming here. And you'll learn about more thank yous related to particular pieces of our program. And then I want to do 2 other rather important thank yous, and then quickly do the thank yous for our silent auction winners. As you know, EENP wants to help people live more complete, full lives with whatever challenges they face. And as part of our commitment to that, I'd like you to thank our signer, Katerina, right here for our graduation. Many of you were with us for the celebration just before the graduation, and heard Maria gave a very good set of how the history has gone and many thank yous, but no one got to thank Maria. So that is my job to say thank you, Maria. Many of you help us with your time, talent, and treasure. I will thank now in fairly brief order the winners of the silent auction. After the graduation, please see me at the table where Whitney is with the naming raffle. We will also do the drawing for the winner of the raffle right at the end of graduation. We'll have to remember to get someone to come up and pull on that. So here are the names. Please see me at graduation for your silent auction items. Amy Brown, Wendy and John. Wendy and John got 2. Jan Zolkower, Bob Vitas, Kim Mercure, Charlotte O'Brien, Mary Andrews, Kat Phillips, Maya Broussard, Michelle Krawitz, Peggy Sleep, Leslie Brandon Moeller, Art Aylesworth, Betsy Fenhagen. That's it. So I get to turn it over to Deb.
Today we've been doing a lot of thinking and reflecting on our past, but now I want to direct our eyes to EENP's future. Each one of our puppies in training will hopefully someday be up here to graduate, and I want to recognize both pups in training and their trainers who are called puppy parents. Our future literally resides with our puppy parents. The dogs live with their puppy parents, and they're also trained by their puppy parents. And so, without further ado, let's get these guys up on stage. First we have Virginia Kay and Gaz. Charlene Hayes and Worthy. Nina Barron and Mark Berman and Meta. Keith Ethan Chieko Jerkis and Macy. Terry Morris and Clay. Meg and Sydney Dye, and Allie. And last but not least, Katie West Greenwood with O'Neill. And for those of you guys who've been following us on Facebook, O'Neill is slowly but surely growing into those ears. I can't thank these puppy parents enough, and I think that everybody out there should know that they are the backbone of our organization. I cannot take another puppy into training unless I have a puppy parent home ready. So if you are interested in becoming a puppy parent and becoming one of these proud volunteers for EENP, please get in touch. We'd love to have you. And without further ado, you guys can return your receipts. Everybody except for Sydney. Skitter, skitter, skitter. Each graduation, the puppy parents get together and they vote for a puppy parent speaker. Today is obviously a big day for our graduates, but it's an equally big day for our puppy parents. I'm proud to present this graduation's puppy parent speaker, Sydney Dye.
And not getting lost between classes. When 7th grade started, I became interested in finding a volunteer opportunity. At this time, I was 12 and knew it would be hard to find an opportunity due to my age. Luckily, one morning, I decided to look through the newspaper, and there on the front page was an article about an organization called Eyes, Ears, Nose, and Paws. The article was about a high school student, Kaylee, and EENP dog Mac. The article explained how Mac was helping Kaylee and how he was changing her life. After reading the article, I was hooked. Not only did this organization help people, it did it with dogs. I found the organization I wanted to volunteer with. A few weeks later, my mom and I attended an EENP demonstration at the Orange County Animal Shelter. This is where we met the director, Deb, and learned about service dogs and how they were trained. It was also the first time I heard the two best words, puppy parent. I started volunteering at EENP on Mondays and Wednesdays after school. I would go to the training room and help with chores. Chores consisted of washing dishes, vacuuming, filling water bowls, and cleaning crates, and so on. But I didn't mind the chores because I was so excited just to be in an environment with dogs. On Thursday evenings, I became the field trip assistant and joined Deb and the puppy parents as they worked on training the dogs at different locations around town. My job was to take attendance, pass out papers, keep track of Deb's backpack, and help out with whatever else was needed. I remember the first Thursday evening that I volunteered. I was terrified because I was the only teenager there. I was asked to walk around, introduce myself to each adult, ask them their name, the name of their dog, and see if their dog had been brushed. Now as I think back, I understand why I was scared, but I know I shouldn't have been. Every volunteer I talked to that night was so welcoming and nice. After 6 months of volunteering, Deb let us know that there would be some new puppies that would be joining the program and asked if we would like to become puppy parents. My only thought was, of course! Mom and Dad were a bit slower committing to taking a puppy. They talked to me about responsibility, how I needed to take the dog out before school, and just the overall time that was needed to train a pup. I heard them and nodded yes, but it didn't matter. I already decided that I would do anything needed to get a puppy. The day came when I got to meet 7-week-old round ball of blonde fur with big eyes named Allie. Allie was so small that she fit in my younger sister's booster seat in the car. The bin we chose for her toys was too small for her to look over, and she needed to be carried down the front steps of our house. With all of her cuteness, I soon learned the reality that puppies love to chew and bite everything. And chew everything Allie did. She had such sharp little puppy teeth that instead of calling her Allie, I started calling her Allie Gator. It seemed like Allie would chew everything except the toys we bought her. Instead of chewing a bone, she would chew a shoe, or the table, or the couch. One night, I had been working on my math homework for a long time. I just finished it and put it in my binder next to my backpack by the front door. Later that night, when I was getting my backpack ready for the next day, I couldn't find my math homework. I guess I was so focused on finding my homework, I didn't take much notice of our little puppy having a mighty fun time with some shredded paper. That paper turned out to be my homework. I put what was left of the paper shreds in a plastic bag. In class the next day, I pulled out the bag and said my dog ate my homework. My teacher wasn't very amused. Allie will be a year old in a few days. She can no longer fit in my sister's booster seat. She can easily get any toy from the toy bin and is now tall enough to think that she's an agility dog and jumps over fallen logs in the forest. Since I started volunteering with EENP, I have learned so much about responsibility and dog training. I have learned to multitask, as I have quickly learned that saying, I can't do the dishes because I'm keeping an eye on my puppy doesn't go over very well with my parents. Throughout all the training that I have assisted with in and out of the training room, I have become very interested in dogs, particularly their noses. I'm going to high school next year, and with every orientation I attend, I am told by a counselor, it might seem early, but you should start considering different career options. While this might seem overwhelming for some students, for me, it is easy to imagine what I might do one day. I'd like to develop a program where dogs are trained to detect the early stages of leukemia, the most common childhood cancer. My interest to volunteer with EENP started by my love for dogs and a newspaper article. Since that first day, I've had the pleasure of meeting Kaylee and Mac, working with clients and dogs from last year's graduation, and spending many Thursday evenings with amazing puppy parents. I would encourage everyone to learn more about becoming a puppy parent. If you are a teenager, this is a great opportunity to volunteer and help people in your community. With the support of your family, you can be a puppy parent and become part of a great organization. Thank you to EENP for giving me the opportunity to be a puppy parent. I can only imagine what I'll be feeling when Allie graduates. I know there will be a lot of tears, but I also know I will be proud of Allie, as I will have seen her grown from an alligator to a dog that will be ready to change someone's life. Thank you.
So next up in our program is our returning client speaker, which was supposed to be Randy McGarity. He was traveling from South Carolina to come and speak. And unfortunately, they had snow and sleet in South Carolina, so he couldn't come this morning. So Ron is somewhere in this room. Ron is coming up. He's gonna take our returning client speaker mantle. Luckily, we had lots of returning clients who are able to fill in.
Give me just a sec. I took notes. Not very good ones. Having to follow Sydney is not going to be fun. My notes say here, talk about EENP. So, I was one of the few people that I think just flew through getting a dog. We started looking in December of 2010, and then graduated in, 2011, and graduated graduated in June of 2012. So from start to finish, EENP has been nothing but tremendous to work with, between Deb, Maria, and the million questions that I'll text both of them with. It's truly been an amazing experience. It's not to say Duncan and I have not had our struggles. As Deb knows, part of our training, we had to litter train Duncan as we went on a cruise. Needless to say, at first, he kind of looked at me and like, this is fake. It looks like grass, but it's not grass. This does not make sense. But with Deb's help, we were able to go on a 4-day cruise and had no trouble with Duncan out there. And he's, as you can tell, it took me 20 minutes the first day to get Duncan to go in and lay down. And as you can see, we've kind of come leaps and bounds. And again, it's the help of Deb and Maria and all the good things. And we've certainly grown, I think, as a team. I've certainly learned how to field a lot of questions regarding dogs and what Duncan does. So, I think Duncan and I are kind of like the Marines. Every day I get up and it's not just a job, it's an adventure. So, as you can tell, and as you're probably aware, he is certainly one of the most popular people in the workplace. Our COO looked at me the first week that I had him, and he stopped me and said, is there anybody that doesn't walk by you and doesn't smile? And there's not too many people that don't. And if they don't smile, I try to avoid them at all costs. So, again, it's truly been an amazing experience from start to finish. There's nothing more that I could really ask of these two sitting here. And, I wouldn't be here with Duncan if it weren't for the help of, the donors, the puppy parents, and especially the volunteers. So thank you guys very much for all that you do for teams like Duncan and I, and just for everyone in general. We have you to thank for it. So thank you very much.
So I have the honor of introducing our keynote speaker for today, Vanessa Woods. She's a New York Times best-selling author. Some of you may have bid on her book in the silent auction. She's a researcher, journalist. Her books have been published in 12 languages. In addition to other titles, she's the author of the New York Times bestseller, The Genius of Dogs. Vanessa has written hundreds of popular science articles published for the Wall Street Journal, the Huffington Post, National Geographic, New Science, and BBC Wildlife. So she is very widely written and read. She is currently a research scientist at Duke. She's co-founder of dognition.com. It's a website that involves people like you and me in the community to evaluate and compare the cognition of dogs. So please join me in welcoming Vanessa Woods.
Thank you. I'm not sure if anyone heard me click, click, click in there at the last minute. I think I need one of these dogs to help me write down days correctly. I'm so happy to be here. This is just always such a wonderful event, and something that just really shocked me the first time I came here is because, my husband Brian has been doing research on dogs for a long time, and I've been interested in it for a long time as well. Just, the way their minds work is so fascinating. And I think it was Randy who was the graduate. Was it the first or the second? That was the very first graduation. And, I guess Brian and I were both scientists, and we were listening to his story, and it was so moving. I can't retell it, because every time I retell it, I cry. Brian and I were just sitting next to each other, and we were just kind of, it was just shocking how moving it was. And, I was crying because, I don't care. And I saw Brian just go, like, are you okay? He's like, no, I'm okay. And I just think that we're so lucky in this area to have such a wonderful organization like EENP, because what we're finding in the research is that, you know, despite the increasing advancements of technology and despite all the leaps and bounds that we're making in terms of, you know, healing the sick and letting, you know, allowing people to live with the challenges they face, is that there's actually nothing better than a dog. And, you know, dogs in so many ways are more reliable and a lot of times cheaper than technology when it comes to dealing with, you know, various challenges that people in our community have to face. And so, you know, these dogs, of course, are incredibly short in demand. It takes a long time to train them. It takes, you know, incredible investment. So as you can imagine, the waiting list is just so long. And for us to have something like EENP in our community that's sort of serving our members and sort of having these wonderful dogs, you know, being able to participate in graduations like this, we're just so lucky. And Brian and I, all we can hope to do is, through our research, is to help make them even better. So I hope that in the future they just grow bigger and stronger, and that one day graduation will have, you know, this room full of dogs, and we'll have to move to a new center. So anyway, is Kaylee here today? Kaylee, where is Kaylee? Oh, Kaylee's one of the first people I met, and she is just a wonderfully inspiring figure. And I think that, so the science of what we're discovering is that dogs are incredibly flexible. And when Brian and I went out to another service dog organization in California, it was really, for me, the first time that I really realized how complicated their job is. So, and you know, the woman was just explaining, you know, if you drop your keys and you ask your dog to pick up the keys, then, you know, it seems like a reasonably simple thing to do. But what if the keys are in another room under a pile of books somewhere? That's something that's, you know, quite difficult. You can't train a machine to do that because the keys are not in view, you know, what they're looking for isn't programmed. And so, you know, the ability of these dogs to do something like that, to flexibly interpret what you're saying, is beyond any other animal's capability, and certainly beyond a lot of machines. And when Kaylee and I were talking, I mean, it was just, the thing that meant the most to her was not just what Mac was doing for her. I think the thing that we miss about service dogs when we're studying the science is just the effect that they have on people, not just Kaylee herself, but also the way people were relating to her. And I think I just caught the last speaker saying that, you know, I mean, one of the big things is how the relationship with people, the way they see, the way, I guess, they perceive him. And that was something that was so important to Kaylee, is that she wasn't just a girl in a wheelchair anymore, but now she was a girl with a dog. And our relationship with dogs has been going on for so long that our biochemistry changes, the way we interact with people changes. If anybody here is on Match.com, put yourself up with a dog because it will get you more dates, apparently. So anyway, it's just been such a privilege to see these real-life sort of cases of people and these wonderful real-life dogs really making an impact in the community. And, you know, Brian and I just hope that any small discoveries we make will only help them grow and become better and stronger. Thank you so much.
And now we move on to graduation itself. This is the part where I get a little emotional, so I've got my notes just in case. We're gathered here today to certainly recognize two individuals and their journey to live fuller lives. And it's thrilling to be here with them. We're also here to recognize puppy parents who have just given it their all to train and prepare these dogs, you know, for their future work. But ultimately, we're here today to celebrate community. I think it's pretty easy to see how an individual service dog can help an individual person. You know, they can retrieve the keys, they can use their noses to detect when blood sugar goes out of range, and so on. And by virtue of the tasks that these dogs do, it enables people to live healthier lives, to make it to work, to get to school, and to participate in their wider community. I think that it's very important for us to understand that the effect that the service dog teams actually improves our communities. The fact that Kaylee can be a part of her school makes her school a better place to be. The fact that Sue is going to be able to go out and do more things in her community on her own because she's living with her dog and more safely managing her blood sugar improves the community in which she lives. The fact that Matthew is going to be heading to work with his dog and being able to operate and live more independently makes our community better and stronger. So today is not only a celebration of these individuals and their journey in living more full lives, but it's also a celebration of our community, and I'm so thrilled that you're here to be here with us to do that. So now we're going to get to the actual graduate part. I'd like to call Sue Bartholomew up to the stage. It's a long trip this time. Sue is from New Bern, North Carolina. She often visits the Durham area to see her daughter and her grandchildren. And actually it was through them that she first became aware of EENP. And we're so thrilled to have her as part of our client base. She is graduating with a diabetic assistance dog who will help her know when her blood sugar goes high or low. Sometimes Sue has difficulty at this point sensing when her blood sugar is going out of range, and so her dog will alert her to that. And as well, if any of you guys know somebody with diabetes who goes low, sometimes people don't feel their best and aren't thinking their best. So they are unable to put together, oh, I'm low, and I need to go test my blood sugar and get something to eat. So her dog will also be able to retrieve a medical kit or go get help at times when Sue isn't thinking clearly enough to do those things herself. The next folks I'm going to introduce are Art and Gretchen Aylesworth. Art and Gretchen brought their dog Ginger, the dog that they raised for EENP, into their home when Ginger was about 7 weeks old, and have labored over the past 2 years to turn her into the beautiful golden that she is today. Gretchen has certainly walked more miles doing loose leash walking than we can even imagine. They've taught Ginger to ride on the bus, to go up and down escalators and elevators, and to lay down and be quiet during a James Bond movie. Ginger is perhaps the sweetest golden retriever I've worked with, and certainly the fluffiest. Oh, okay, good. She's been just a joy to work with, and really in the past, I would say in the past 3 months, she's really taken, she's grown from a puppy into a real working dog, and it's just always such a pleasure to watch those dogs make that transformation of, gosh, these are tricks, it's fun to do them for treats, into, hey, I'm meant to do this. And she's really made that transition, I would say, in the last 3 months. So, without further ado, Gretchen and Art, please pass the leash to Sue. And we would like to present Sue Bartholomew with a certificate of graduation.
She's labored the past 2 weeks with Ginger in client team training, and now they are ready to hit the malls and streets of New Bern. And the golf course. Our next graduate is Matthew Prusik. See the pups up front, they got up and said, "Ooh, can I go with him?" My own pet dog Finner, when he was in the training room while Matthew was training, kept curling up underneath Matthew's desk, and I'm pretty sure that he'll only go home with Matt as well. Matthew lives and works in Apex, and we actually became acquainted with him several years ago. He has actually had a service dog in the past, and that service dog lived a long, good serving life with Matthew, and then passed away. When Matthew was ready to get a new service dog, he looked for organizations, and we're so happy that he found us. Matthew joined us for client team training, and we were looking at matches, and we basically found the perfect match for him. He needs things to be retrieved. He needs to be actually pushed back in his wheelchair at times to remain stable in the wheelchair. The dog also does things like push elevator buttons for him. And can readjust his arms when his arms fall out of place. So it's been very exciting to watch Matthew work with multiple dogs, and especially the dog he's graduating with today. The next folks I want to introduce are Jem and Charlotte O'Brien. I can still remember the day that Jim rolled up in the parking lot and I was training one of the dogs on the steps, and he sticks his head out and says, "Hey, I saw that article in the UNC newspaper. I want to be a puppy parent." And we were just thrilled. Jim and Charlotte have worked for years and years fostering rescue golden retrievers with another local organization. We were so thrilled to have them join our organization, and the work was such a natural fit. They're both wonderful with dogs. They have both grown so much as trainers in the past few years that they've been working with their dog Taylor. And they're also just model puppy parents. They, at every turn, every decision that they've made along the way has been all about getting their dog Taylor ready and prepared for his life as a working dog. Taylor came to us a little bit later in life. He came to us at probably about 6 months old, and from the get-go, it was absolutely clear that he was smarter than I was. Luckily, because sometimes actually smart dogs can be kind of difficult because, when they get smarter than you are, then they're, running everything in the household. But he has a heart of gold. He's smart and compassionate, so, the smarts doesn't go to his head. He's always been very quick to understand what was needed of him. I would point to a light switch, he would, approach it. The moment he understood that, flipping that light switch did something, it was like, oh, I get it. And, we never had to really visit that much anymore. He just knew what he was supposed to do. He made those connections so easily and so readily. And so, yeah, he used that smarts for good instead of evil. So, without further ado, we'd like the O'Briens to present Matthew with Taylor's Leash. Taylor's about to die because all of his favorite people are like within 3 feet of each other. client team training is the absolute ultimate experience for me, and it's been such a joy to watch Taylor and use all of his smarts to instantly know what Matthew needs. It's difficult. It can often be a difficult transition for the dogs. To go from able-bodied trainers like myself to somebody who cannot use their body to point. Say, I want that pair of socks. Taylor has been doing a fantastic job of being able to interpret what Matthew needs, and almost instantly, Taylor, saw that Matthew was falling forward in his wheelchair and just got right back up and boom, put him back. He says, "You belong back there." He's just made many, many connections like that. He makes me look fantastic because, basically, he's trained himself to do all this stuff. I just say, yeah, I did, well, he did that, but, so. The clients also elect a client team training speaker, and Matthew was voted to speak for his class, and so without further ado, we're going to have Matthew tell us a little bit about what his experience has been.
So much to say, so little time. Today is what it's all about. We all have something in common, and that is the desire for independence. Being up here today marks the beginning of our journey for independence.
Hold on.
Sorry, everybody.
Yep.
Even though training was intense, go ahead, sorry. Even though training was intense, it has helped us to develop skills necessarily to try out independently and develop a lifetime bond for our companions. Yes, we had some good times, too. While Taylor got rewarded for treats, I was being rewarded with meatballs. That was an ongoing joke during training. On a serious note, none of this would be possible without EENP, especially Deb Cunningham, for her guidance and patience, the volunteers, family, friends, and the community. And congratulations to Sue and Ginger, and a special congratulations to Taylor. I look forward to our journey together. Thank you everyone for your support.
So much fun. I really haven't run into a more positive individual. He comes to, I don't know if you guys have noticed the weather lately has been kind of cruddy. Well, we were out field tripping in this weather, and it was cold for me, and it's even colder for Matthew. Basically I'd say, are you all right? And he said, yeah, I'm fine. Let's get inside. I guess I have to let Matthew go. I would prefer to keep this certificate and keep him in our training room because he's just been such a joy to have. But folks tell me that the higher-ups tell me that I have to give him his graduation certificate and send him on his way. So, Matthew, I'd like to present you with your graduation certificate and many, many congratulations. By taking my annual picture of the audience, because that's a lot easier than actually speaking after a wonderful speech.
picture of the audience. Excellent. So, in all seriousness, I do love to document EENP's history, and that's why I try to take these pictures every year from the stage, because you are our community, and we hope that we present something that is valuable to you when we do these graduations, but we do them also because we want our clients to feel the community that's out there supporting them, and to have a chance to connect everyone who's made the work we do possible with our clients. One of the hard things about the work we do is that I'm going to say this and it's going to sound silly, we work with the dogs all the time, right? That's not really that hard. Except that the point of what we do is to work with the clients, and we don't get to spend very much time with them. So our client training camps are really precious to us. It's 2 weeks of time when we are completely focused on our clients, and we get to spend a lot of time with them, and we come to love them very much, and we hope that they come to love us very much. But it's an amazing time, and so graduation is our chance to share that with the community that's made the work that we do possible. We talked earlier in the day a little bit about the history of EENP, and the cool thing about EENP is that we've had clients with a pretty wide variety of conditions. So clients with mobility impairments, and there's so many things that can cause mobility impairments and so many ways that can impact someone's life. We've had diabetic clients. We've had, last year we placed a dog with Prusik, for a very rare medical condition, and we had originally, what we were promising them was a dog that could go get help, a dog that could provide some physical support for the family. But what we were able to train was a dog that could detect a rare medical condition. And so it was a pretty groundbreaking experiment that had never been done before. We trained the first ever mastocytosis reaction detecting dog in the world. And so when that's the looking back part. The looking forward part is thinking about in 5 years, in 10 years, what other really cool things will we have done? What will we be able to accomplish? I think there are so many incredible possibilities. Sydney talked about leukemia detection. There have been studies. Dogs can detect cancer at all stages, grades. They have pretty impressive accuracy. And how that actually comes into play, how that gets utilized is still an open question. How do we take what dogs can do and make it work for dogs and for people, and to make the world a better place? So I think the next 5 years, the next 10 years is going to show us that. And what makes that possible is our community here. So it's our donors, it's our volunteers, it's our clients, it's everyone who comes together and makes these things possible. And in the realm of community, I do want to take a moment to make a special thanks to the town of Carrboro, because they really stepped up and showed their commitment to inclusivity by arranging to get a ramp onto stage, and the need for the stage to be wheelchair accessible had never come up before for them. So they had to, kind of at the last minute, actually very much at the last minute, do a lot of scrambling to figure out how to make something fit. As you can tell, it's not like a little thing. So it's a really big deal, and the town of Carrboro was completely supportive of what we were doing and the need to make this stage accessible. And for that, I want to thank the town of Carrboro, because that is the kind of community that we want to create, we want to be a part of. And so I think that it's just a really important thing to acknowledge. And then in the realm of community support, part of my job is to raise money to keep this organization going. And so I do want to say that it really is folks' financial support that keeps this organization going. It's what's gotten us to year 5. It's what's helped us grow, place 8 dogs, make 8 amazing partnerships that have changed lives, and it's what has helped us have I guess now we have 7 more dogs in training. Since we've graduated these 2, they're no longer in training. And so it's what helped us have 7 more dogs in training. We have 7 clients on our waiting list waiting for dogs. And so your financial support is what makes that possible. Thank you for bidding in the silent auction. Thank you for participating in the raffle. Thank you to those of you who have made donations. And we would love to accept any donations that anyone wants to make. So there's Whitney, I think, is still in the back, and she can certainly help you with that. But it is really, folks' financial support is what makes all of this possible. So, and before you all go away, I believe John wants to do our raffle drawing here. So.
Okay, we're doing this on the fly. I've never met this fine young volunteer before. What's your name? Eliana, do you and your family have a dog at home?
Yes.
What's your dog's name?
Justice.
Justice. Whoa. Is Justice a small dog or a big dog?
Small dog for now.
Okay, that's a good way to put it. For EENP, we're small but growing as well, and I'm going to give everybody a good chance on see who's going to be our winner to pick a dog name for a future dog. So of all this, can you mix it around and then pull out one of the slips? Okay, pull out one. Okay, the winner is, with the name for the pup named George, John Krolitz. Concludes our graduation. Thank you very much for coming. Thank you for your support, and have a good Saturday.